Welcome. Thank you for joining me. Once again, the cherished grandmothers have asked me to explain to all of us how the village council works. You've all been actively involved in the clan council for a period of time now. You've understood your responsibilities very well, and I think the clan is running beautifully. Now it's time for you to start understanding better how the village council works, because it won't be long before we're starting to look to some of you to become the clan representative to the village council. Now the council is basically the representative from each clan going in to speak as part of the village council to the needs of their particular clan. Like with the three-part village or clan society where the men and the women and the cherished grandmothers work together to find common solutions that everybody agrees with, the intent of the village council is just exactly the same. The idea is that the clan's representatives are intended to work together to come to compromises that work for everybody, and ultimately it makes our lives simpler and everybody happier. Now, the council itself is a little bit more complicated than that might sound. Once each clan decides on who their representative is going to be, that representative is sent to the council house to sit at the council circle and talk. Now, within the council circle, there will also be a youth next to each of the clan representatives, and that youth will be there, either a youth or a young adult. They'll be right at that area. And they're there simply to carry messages to and from the council member from the clan. From the cherished grandmothers are always listening, or always have one of their people listening to where they can have some say in what's going on. If something changes from the agenda or the agenda is going someplace different than what the clan had thought. So there's always a runner that can do that for each of the council members. Each of the council members will ultimately, when they first get together, have to select two individuals who are not council representatives, but who are people from the village that everybody knows, to serve in the two primary positions within the clan council, or with the village council, one being the white session, the other one being the red session. Now, the purpose of the white session is to have an individual that anybody within the village can go to and say, this is something that bothers me, this is something that I would like an answer to or a council decision on, and that might be a child, it might be a youth, it might be a responsible adult, it might be a cherished grandmother, it might be a decision of a whole clan. So that individual, the white session, is responsible for finding out what these concerns are, discussing them with the other people, clans, and coming up with an agenda that is then explained to each of the clans, each of the cherished grandmothers. They're the ones that to bring back that information, so that the clan can make decisions on exactly how they feel about that particular issue and give their representative the points that the clan has decided are the basic interests of the clan related to that particular agenda item. So the white session sets up the agenda. Once the council meeting starts and the white session begins it, the white session introduces the council to the agenda for the day, and then there is a talking stick. Each council has their own talking stick, usually a decorated stick that they can use as an indicator of who has the floor, who has the right to stand and talk about a particular topic. That's where the red session comes in. The red session is the person who is basically there to keep the order of the council, to make sure that nobody talks out of turn, that nobody gets carried away. If the white session gives the red session the talking stick, they'll indicate which member of the council they're allowing to speak. The red session will then take that talking stick to that person, and while that person's holding the talking stick, they have a right to give their opinion on the topic at hand only. If the white sashim, once they've done, and they turn over the talking stick to the red sashim will then go back to the white sashim, who will decide who's the next to speak, or will signal to the red sashim who's the next to speak on the topic. Now, if the person starts repeating themselves or getting off the topic, the white sashim will stop them from talking by basically saying stop or just raising his hand indicating to stop. And the red sashim will be by that person with the talking stick, and if that person doesn't stop talking, the red sashim will convince them that it's a good idea to stop talking. They have full rights to do what's necessary to maintain the order of the council. Usually they'll just hand the stick back over, or they'll ask the white sashim, what am I doing that's inconsistent? Is it not on the topic? Is it something else that I'm doing that I don't understand I'm doing? And the white sashim will explain why they stopped them. If the person can't bring anything else relevant to the topic, the red sashim takes the talking stick and the white sashim indicates who else. Everybody that's interested in talking on the subject has the opportunity to have a say, and then once everybody's had a say, there's a way to signal which way they're going. So each member of the council will have a way of indicating that they're in favor of something or opposed to something that's being discussed in the council hearing. So once you have the various members indicating whether they're for or opposed to something or not decided yet, the white sashim can look around the room, see where they're at, and if there's a couple that are in favor of, a couple that are strongly opposed to it, give them the opportunity to express why they're in that position. And if they can work out a compromise and make a decision, then the council votes, and if everybody agrees, it passes. If not everybody agrees, and they can see they're not really going anyplace with these arguments, the white sashim will put the question aside and say, okay, I want you and you to get together with your cherished grandmothers and work it out. Figure out what. And if there's somebody that's not decided, I want you to sit in on that and hear how they decide so that you can be sure on your decision. So that the next time the subject came up, they would all agree on the way to handle that particular situation. Now, once the council's decision was made, the responsibility to enforce that decision went to the red sashim. Now, that could be a matter of running somebody out, or if there's an outsider that's been hunting in the woods and they've been behaving themselves and then all of a sudden they shoot a deer, which is the same thing as a bear killing a deer. We're not going to kill the man and eat him. So we send the red sashim out there, who has two choices. That'll depend on how that person reacts. They'll explain to the person that they just killed a deer and that we're going to have to take the meat away from them, and whatever they ate, they're going to have to give us something in compensation for it, maybe a rabbit, maybe a dozen rabbits. And then we'll let them leave, because we're not going to let them stay around, because they've changed, or they've started to change from an outsider to an outlaw. An outlaw is somebody that does whatever they want, regardless of what the potential impact might be on the villages around them. And those people are outlaws. If they don't run off, we have to run them off. If we can't run them off, we have to fight them until they can't be a problem with us anymore. And you can understand what that might be. So the red sashim now goes out there and does the enforcement of it. This is how the council basically works. You want representatives to the council who are forthright, who are honest in every sense, who care more about the people than they do about themselves, who can listen to any argument, to any disagreement without getting angry. They can hold their own feelings and say, I'm willing to understand your point of view, even if I don't agree with it. So when you start selecting your clan representatives, look for the best of the best to become representatives. And those are the people later on that will become the cherished uncles of your clan. Thank you for listening to me. Good luck.